Thousands of years before the Battle of Yavin, in the age of the Old Republic, the Lorrel Pirates settled in the Hapes cluster around 4200 BBY, a region located near the Perlemian trade route, but hidden from detection by the ionized space of the transitory mists. Forming a confederacy of pirates, held together in a loose alliance, the Lorrel Raiders attacked and plundered Republic ships for centuries, often capturing beautiful women to birth their children. A male-dominated society, female prisoners were bought and sold as slaves, treated as property or prizes won in combat. Yet the Force-wielding Jedi Order, charged with the protection of the Republic, eventually noticed and tracked down these enemies, resulting in the Battle of Lorrel around 4030 BBY, where the great Jedi Knight Archijeth led a Republic task force to defeat the pirates, devastating their numbers to such an extent they lost their stranglehold over the worlds of the Hapes cluster. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the enslaved women of Hapes rebelled against the surviving pirate overlords, winning their freedom to establish the Hapes Consortium under a matriarchal government led by an all-powerful Queen Mother. The female leaders of this rebellion were so traumatized by their oppression under the Lorrel Raiders, their new society banned slavery and treated men as second-class citizens, only able to hold positions of limited authority, with a common expression stating that they must never let a man become so deluded as to believe he is the intellectual equal of a woman. It only leads him to evil. For those males that would not accept this mistreatment, they often fled to engage in the trade of their ancestors, becoming pirates of the transitory mists, assaulting consortium or outsider ships that passed near. Yet this was a dangerous endeavor, as those caught were tried and possibly executed, depending on the severity of their crimes. Although the women of the Hapes cluster partially owed their freedom to the Jedi Order, their culture remembered these Force wielders as enemies, with the population and future queens often mistrustful or outright hostile to these guardians of the Republic. Though all the worlds of the Hapes Consortium sent representatives to promote their interests on the capital world of Hapes, final authority rested in the absolute rule of the powerful Queen Mother, who passed this title onto her firstborn daughter, or if she didn't have a daughter, then the wife of her firstborn son. A realm of great political intrigue, the noble houses of the Consortium often vied for power, either by targeting the Queen and her children for assassination, or else by competing to provide a male member of their families as consort to the ruler, so they might produce an heir of their bloodline. Living in the capital city Ta'achumdan upon Hapes, the royal family lived in the luxurious Fountain Palace while maintaining a secondary residence called the Reef Fortress upon a small island in one of their oceans. The Queen Mother also had a personal starship built to resemble the Fountain Palace. A wondrous planet of lush forests and majestic mountain ranges, the capital world passed laws to ensure their cities and factories were impeccably clean, while heavily regulating hunting and fishing to preserve their natural beauty. Never experiencing true darkness, 7 moons and a shimmering nebula passed through their night sky, causing the Hapen people to develop poor night vision, which gave rise to the saying, "Hapens are beautiful, but they can't see in the dark." Expanding to conquer the populated worlds of the Hapes cluster, the Consortium ruled over 63 planets, with each member world and all major corporations maintaining embassies or branches on the capital world, which was the political, cultural, and business center of their realm, with laws requiring all major financial transactions to be conducted on Hapes. Making up the core worlds of the Consortium, the capital was joined by over 20 other planets in the interior region, which were among the first planets settled by the Lorrel Raiders and liberated by the rebels. Then there were the Rifle Worlds, which once tried to secede from the government but failed, and thereafter became the industrial manufacturing base of the Consortium. And lastly, the Rim Worlds, closest to the outside galaxy, which were more cosmopolitan than all the others. Around the year 3100 BBY, the ruling Queen Mother cut off the Hapes Consortium from the rest of the galaxy, making them an isolationist power for over 3,000 years. Though information on what occurred during this period is limited, it is believed the Consortium eventually fell under the influence of pacifists and anti-military types who focused on diplomatic negotiations over violent conflict. Yet this started to change around the time of Palpatine's rise in the Galactic Republic, beginning with the reign of Queen Mother Nikorish, who held so much hatred for their ancient Force-wielding enemies. It is believed she may have or would have hunted and killed any Jedi that hid in the Consortium during or after the Jedi Purge. Years later, during the Yuuzhan Vong War, an anti-Jedi faction was named after this hate-filled queen. Though the Consortium remained isolated throughout the fall of the Republic and rise of the Empire, Star Destroyers occasionally made their way into the Hapes Cluster, resulting in minor skirmishes where Imperial starships were defeated and captured. The Consortium then continued their path to militarization and violence under the daughter and heir of Nikorish, Ta'a Chum, who finally reopened their borders in 8 ABY to eventually form an alliance with the New Republic. A hard, ruthless woman, the Queen Mother arranged the assassination of her firstborn son, Kaelin, as well as her younger son Isildur's fiancé, Eliar, believing they were too weak to lead the Consortium after her death. Though she briefly considered marrying her son Isolde to Princess Leia of the fallen world Alderaan, Isolde instead married the Dathomirian Night Sister, Teneniel Jo, who the Queen Mother also attempted but failed to assassinate. Even after she stepped down from her position, the former Queen Mother continued her machinations, attempting to assassinate her great-granddaughter Alana in 36 ABY, only to be discovered by the girl's Force-wielding father, Jacen Solo, who used his powers to give her a brain hemorrhage, leaving her comatose. Possessing great wealth and a strong economy, the currency of the Hapes Consortium was more valuable than Republic or Imperial credits, giving Hapans great buying power as they re-emerged on the galactic stage. Maintaining their own distinct military forces, Hapan security served as their main police force, while royal guards were charged with the defense of the royal family, and Her Majesty's select commandos were special forces. As for the Hapan Royal Navy, which served as their space force, their general fighting style was inspired by their history as pirates, preferring swift, ruthless strikes to severely weaken their enemy early on in the engagement. Though they allied with the New Republic and fought in the Yuuzhan Vong War, the Hapes Consortium eventually took a step back from involving themselves in outside conflicts, remaining neutral throughout the Sith Imperial War and Second Imperial Civil War. A special thanks to all those who contribute to Civilization X, like Torque Frostbite, Faith the Wandering Huntress, Raj the Jar, and Kristen Green Eyes of the Company of the Cat. If you'd like to help the channel, be sure to give a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and click on the links below, or else go to patreon.com/civilizationx, where you can gain early access to videos, vote on future content, and watch the Patreon-only series, Heroes of Lore and Legend.